What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Today is the 4th of February, Wednesday, halfway through the week, and going over the price action on Nasdaq 100 NQ and SPX 500. Took a few entries today. Profitable day, break even on a few trades, and still holding some of them. So let's get right into the video. So here, minimize this. Looking at the higher time frame here, starting from Nasdaq. So looking here at NQ. Hold on, this chart freezing a little bit. Looking here at NQ, we had a pretty massive sell-off today, even though we retraced quite a bit, but we still closed below the previous daily low. So here we sold off, and see we opened down here with a huge gap down. So we sold off today. Retraced a bit during the PM session going into London, and then we sold off. We took out previous weekly low was all here. We took out the previous monthly low all the way down here, and we closed up here, but we came all the way down here. So pretty massive sell off right there, coming all the way down. I got a trade from up in the manipulation part of the daily candle up here, and we just sold off. And it's pretty much the same thing on SPX 500, US 500, or the ES futures. So let me show you. So this is the current daily chart coming all the way down here. What we look like. Let me show you now on the 4-hour time frame what we're looking like. So this is the current 4-hour chart for Nasdaq. So see where we close all the way down here below previous monthly low. So this was where we retraced back into the new day or the new week opening gap, and we sold off coming all the way down. So this is the daily candle here. This is already Thursday's candle. Yeah, and we coming down pretty heavy. So the current weekly candle has a long wick down here. There's a government shutdown going on right now, so the news pretty tentative about NFP and some other stuff that were lined up on the calendar. But let us see how we close out this week. Looking now at NAS 100 and the 1-hour candle, the 1-hour time frame. This is where we traded back up. I was taking a few scalps on another account right here. I got an entry on my main account here, somewhere right here. Went into profit, came back up into drawdown, and came all the way down here. I got stopped on another account somewhere inside of here before we retrace, and I held all the way down to here. Didn't take any partials, and currently see where we're at here. Looking to see if we get some follow through going into tomorrow. But pretty clean price action today. Can't complain, to be honest. Pretty clean price action, and this the Asia was a bit choppy, because that's the session that I was most active in. I couldn't stay up for London. Went to bed around midnight actually. But yeah, this is now the 15 minutes time frame, and if you took an entry on the 15 minutes, so So we traded up into this 15-minute order block, refined, or this 15-minute supply zone, came down after midnight, came back up for a retest of this more refined zone, and then we sold off pretty hard into New York. So some pretty decent moves right there, um, coming down. Let's go into now the entries that I took. So see, I am floating 200 and something dollars there. I have an entry from all the way up at the top, and I had this one from last night. So I took this one right here, went into some drawdown, didn't get the best entry. If I stayed up for London, then I could have gotten an entry all the way up inside of here. That was the ideal entry. Let me see if I can zoom in, because let me see trade history. So this is where I sold it from Asia. We went all the way up into drawdown, came back into profit, went back up before we finally drop in, and it's just today since I put the stop at break even. And another account that I'm trading, I got stopped out on that same sell on US 100. Let me show you. I lost like 1/4% on that sell. Let me see if I can show you. US 100. So it's all the way over here. I didn't set that wide of a stop. I thought it would have held, but it's a smaller account, so I set the stop here and I got wicked out. Pushed up a little bit before dropping, and this could have netted me about 3% actually from this drop, but it is what it is. It is what it is. We dropped all the way down there. I took another sell on US 500 right here. Came all the way down, didn't take off any partials, and we retrace coming all the way back into break even. It stopped me out, and see we came back down, and see we currently looking to continue selling off. But you know, it is what it is. I'll catch it another time. The positions were small. I think I only risk like less than 1/4%, 0.2%. I was at work, and I'm just trying to stay disciplined and focused in taking some of these entries. I took the entry on the other account overnight, and I didn't take any entries during the day. So let me now go over the actual trades that presented themselves. Let me show you. From early. So starting from in the Asian, pretty sideways movement during Asian, lackluster, not many opportunities. Going into the midnight open, we had a pretty decent buy up here, but all of this was drawdown from me trying to catch a proper trade. Let me zoom in a bit here. So this was a pretty decent buy up, nice little buy going into London. Before this was the peak of the manipulation, going above previous daily high. So we came here, and then we started to sell off. This was one entry here at this break, another one during the macro here, another one here. These would have been scalps if you didn't risk above these highs, but this was the best one right here, right around 7 a.m. in the morning, because we just traded sideways pretty much through London before we started to sell off. This was an ideal entry coming down. I knew we were going to sell off based on where we closed. and we just sold. Going into the 10 a.m. open, 9:30 open, we kind of just drop, retrace, drop again. Didn't try to take any entries here. This was an ideal entry inside this 9:30 to 9:30 a.m. Inside the 10 a.m. macro, we had a decent sell here. Bit of a retrace. Could have tricked you into some buys here. This would have been a nice scalp buy, and then we would have sold off again. So this 11 a.m. candle, the second hour of the 10 a.m. 4 hour, came down here. If you notice, not much manipulation on this 10 a.m. We opened right there, went up like this, and then we came down. So if you sold inside of here, you literally got the tip of the 10 a.m. candle. Hold on. So we sold at this 11 a.m. We sold again during lunchtime. We got some nice little retrace. Retrace back into this low here, acted as a breaker, and we just got another sell entry right here. So pretty decent sell off going into lunchtime. So lunch hour presented a sell, and then we started to retrace going into 2 p.m. So the 2 p.m. candle opened here, we manipulated down, but if you notice, we could have gotten some buy opportunities from the one o'clock candle. So one entry there, another one here right around the 2. So the 150 to 210 macro gave us another long entry inside this macro here, and this was how we basically ended the day. So we traded all the way back up, and this would have been a pretty decent buy. So one entry there, another one here, to pretty much end the day for the PM session. So right there is how we ended, and like during the power hour, we did a little bit of this coming down and to just close there. This is after hours, maybe, and some earnings releases, and that's how we end there. So right now we're pretty much retracing. I'm hoping, I wish we had closed closer down to the lows down here, but we did a bit of a retracement, so we left a long wick on the daily candle. Hopefully we get some more follow through and we're not just going all the way back up. But this is what we currently look like in Asia. This was a nice entry here, but it is what it is. I got home pretty late, so I didn't get to take part in any of this action, but I might try to stay up a little bit and see if I can catch a bit of it. But that's it for today's video, guys. I'll catch you tomorrow for the next one. Peace.